What's up, Buttercup? It is I, it is me, it is she, Barbie P, and welcome back to my channel. And of course, before we jump into this video, I have to give my disclaimer because I know y'all like to clickety clack in the comment section. I am not a doctor, a dietitian, a nutritionist, or Jesus, so I always recommend you seek the professional help you need on your weight loss, fat loss journey. However, I'm just a girly that lost over 100 pounds and has kept it off. I have tips and tricks that have helped me lose the weight, and hopefully they'll help you out. Now, with all that out of the way, let's jump into this video. So, Buttercup, I just wanted to make a video on pretty much how I have kept the weight off. The beginning of this year, my total weight loss was 103 pounds. That was in January. Now we are in October, and my total weight loss is like 107. Yeah, 107 pounds altogether. So I lost like an additional 4 pounds. Whoop-de 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 whoop. And it was no crazy diets. It was just consistency and micro habits that saved me from regaining the weight and a journey of self-discovery. So, of course, I know some are like, you should have lost way more weight, da 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 da. This was really trial and error because if you know, the beginning of this year, I was probably eating like 1,200 calories, doing 14K steps. Like I was doing a lot of activity and I was eating less to kind of keep that weight. So pretty much I got down to like 194, and that was great, but your girl was tired, and then my walking pad broke, so it was time to get a new walking pad. Some things happened, but anyway, and I ended up even getting a nutritionist to help me out because it would seem like I was doing 14K steps, 1,200 calories, but then I got to that point where I wasn't losing any more weight. And I was just like, okay, what do I have to do? Like, do I have to do 16K steps and do 1,100 calories? And I was just like, this is not going to work. So I ended up getting a nutritionist and kind of went on like a refeed in a sense, got my body back adjusted to where it needed to be, and then started the deficit again. Of course, I had some hiccups here and there, but like I said, overall, I have not gained 10, 20 pounds. I have not gained really no weight this year. So this is just what I did. Of course, having a eating window. My eating window is normally between 11 a.m. to about 8:30, sometimes 9 o'clock p.m. But I try to stop eating at least at 9. I try to stop eating at least at 9 majority of the week. Sometimes I'll stop eating at 6:30. Sometimes it's like 8 o'clock. And then there are an occasional days where I might have my last meal at 9:30 or a little snacky snack at 10 p.m. But that's not my normal, if that makes sense. So pretty much I have kept my daily habits in check so much that if I do kind of fall out of alignment, it doesn't bother me as much, if that makes sense. So yeah, having that eating window, and that helped me out a lot because Buttercup, I'm going to tell you, when I first started my journey, I didn't have an eating window. I was just eating whenever I wanted to. I was eating all willy-nilly because I was just used to just eating. So having that window cut out so many calories. Of course, I had a bigger eating window at my heaviest because, you know, you had to adjust. Like for me, if you're one of those people that can just jump and lose the weight and be snatched in 10 months, that is amazing. I love that for you. But this was a real journey of self-discovery for me. So I had to literally like just start and gradually, add a little bit more. So having that eating window. Now, this next tip, oh my gosh, Buttercup, when I tell you, it is so important. When I tell you, it really helped me change the game. learning my cycle. Buttercup. And it literally took me till kind of, I want to say almost September of this year, August, September this year to really understand and learn my cycle. It took me to almost 30 years to actually learn my cycle. And pretty much throughout the month, the first, I would say 1 to 10 days out the month, those are my leanest days. I am locked in. I am loaded. I'm ready to go. I'm hitting my water. I'm getting my steps. I'm hitting my protein goals. Bop, 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 bop. Like days 1 through 10 are easy. It's effortless. Days 11 through 20, this is where I start slightly craving, but I just want a little bit more. So I noticed that I kind of get like an extra scoop of cauliflower rice. I get an extra piece of chicken. I just start craving a little bit more food. Days 11 through 20. Now, baby, days 21 through 30, that's where the real fight is for me. Those last days, that's when I am craving heavy. This is when I'm craving cinnamon rolls. I'm craving the sweets. I'm craving the fried food. This is where I'm really, really just craving. And I was trying to figure out, like earlier this year, like, why do I keep kind of struggling throughout the month? Like I do so well. And it was kind of like just those day 21 through 30, I was struggling my eating to a point where it was almost resetting. So let's just say I lost 4 pounds. No, yeah, we'll say I lost like 4 pounds, right? In this 1 month. Because of that struggle that I had with day 21 through 30, it's like now I probably gained about 2 pounds. So now I've only lost 2 pounds going into the new month. So now I've lost those 2 pounds going into the new month. I go through the whole cycle again. And then days 21 through 30, there's that struggle with eating. So now I gain about 2 pounds again. Then the new month comes in. I've lost those 2 pounds. So I'm still holding on to those 2 pounds, right? I'm still holding on to those 2 pounds. But like I said, day 21 through 30, that's just kind of like that struggle period. And like I said, Buttercup, it literally took me till about August of this year to really catch what was going on. And I was like, oh, it's my cycle. Because I could walk past, cinnamon rolls, and I could walk past McDonald's. Well, I don't care for McDonald's like that. But like Chick-fil-A, like I could walk past this stuff. Days 1 through 10, I like, oh, it's the scum of the earth. Look at you. Get away from me. Get away. You're going to hinder my goals. Then like day 11 through 20, it's not the scum of the earth, but it's kind of flirting with me, but I still got the power to fight it off. It's not that strong. But like I said, day 21 through day 30, Buttercup, that it started flirting with me. I mean, flirting hard, flirting heavy. And what I would do, like with day 21 through 30, with the cravings, it would be like granola. There's this brand. It's called Better Goods. And it's like the salted chocolate chip granola. Yeah. I can't have that around that time period, because what I would do is make a bowl of the granola and pour milk in it and like pretty much turn it into cereal, right? So that's about 1,500 calories right there. Because you do know, like a serving of granola is 200, 240, sometimes 250 calories. So if I'm making like a cute bowl, even though it's a small, like nice size bowl of granola, well, it's a nice size bowl because the granola is so calorie dense. It's almost, like I said, an extra 1,000 to 1,500 calories right there in that bowl of granola. And I would still eat my regular food, but I done had like an extra 1,500 calories, let's just say on day 21. Now, day 22, I'm, doing okay, doing all right. But now here comes a cinnamon roll. Or earlier this year, it was actually Oreos, and it was the Oreo Thins. And I learned in March, I don't buy Oreo Thins no more. I don't buy Oreos, period, for the house, because Oreos is just one of those foods that if I eat it, I can't stop eating it. And even though they are Oreo Thins, if you eat a whole pack of Oreos, you still ate a good amount of Oreos. And that's what would happen to me, Buttercup. No lie. That's what would happen. So I tried it in February and in March. And then after that, I stopped eating Oreo Thins, having them in the house. Now, when we went on vacation, I did get like a small pack of Oreos where there's like 8 in the pack. So I did have that, on the vacation about maybe 3-4ish times, like throughout the whole vacation. But when we come home, I do not keep Oreo Thins in the house. I don't keep Oreo Thins in the house. I don't keep Oreos in the house. It's a texture thing. And then just with the way that they taste, it's hard for me to get just 2 or 3 and put them back. Now, if it's the beginning, like I said, the days 1 through 10, I have that, discipline. I can have, a serving or 2. I can have it. But when it gets to that day 21 through 30, don't have no Oreo Thins in the house. Don't have them. Don't have them. And I'm going to just say this is learning my cycle, but also identifying my triggers, my trigger foods. So I'm just going to lump this all together. But yes, learning my cycle and then knowing my trigger foods, because like I said, Oreo Thins I can't do. Graham crackers is one of those things that they just taste good to me. Like the cinnamon graham crackers, like I love it. They taste good. And it's just one of those foods that's just I eat it and then I'll just kind of keep eating it. So I might have 2 sheets of the graham crackers and then later on I have another 2 sheets. It's one of those foods that keeps me kind of coming back in a sense. And that's how I would go over in my calories. So that's why I kind of kept playing with the same kind of 2 to 3ish pounds this year. But still learning my cycle and knowing my trigger foods kept me from gaining significant weight. And that goes to my next one is the 5-pound rule. I made this rule for myself the beginning of this year. I said, self, and self said, I said, girl, we've lost 103 pounds. We are not gaining 15 pounds this year. We're not. If you gain any weight, you only have a 5-pound limit. And when I say 5 pounds, I mean 5 pounds of pure fat. Not like just having Chick-fil-A one day and you're bloated the next day, because that affects too. But I mean, after you pretty much weighed in 1 week and then you ate right, you did your steps, you hit your protein goals, now it's the following week and you done pooed, and now you get on the scale and you're 5 pounds or 5 pound plus. So the 5-pound rule has helped me out so much from regaining weight. Like I said, at the most, I've probably gained 2 to maybe 3 pounds of actual fat, but really it's been no more than 2 pounds. And then most of the time it's really water weight and a good poo. So just by me keeping that rule in my mind, just keeping it, I have not gained over 5 pounds this year of pure fat. Now, like I said, it might be some water weight and some food weight, but like I said, pretty much the next week when I weigh in, I see, oh, okay, I lost water weight, I lost the poo. So, sometimes you can have 2 to 3 pounds of just poo in your system. And it's like, now I've only gained 1.5 pounds. Okay, that's fine. And just the 5 pound rule, that mindset alone has kept me disciplined and just more aware. So it's like, yeah, I might get my nibble on, but I'm like, okay, when you get on that scale, you better not be over 5 pounds of pure fat, because you got to think about it, Buttercup. I've told you my struggles and all that type of stuff. If this is just happening, with 1 to 3-ish pounds, think about how much discipline you pretty much have to lose to gain 5 plus pounds, to gain 7 pounds. Because that's how it starts. It starts off at, 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 7 pounds. Now you're in 10 plus. Then before you know it, you done gained, 20, 25 pounds in a year or in a couple of months. So that's why I have that 5 pound rule for myself. Now for others, you might have less than that or maybe more than that. But for me, it's 5 pounds because I know me and I know how it can get. Because if I gain 5 pounds of pure fat, I mean like of just pure fat, like I said, you done pooed, you done ate right for a whole week and you still 5 pounds over, I have lost control. That's it. I have lost control. The habits, my daily habits that I've been doing, I have fallen off bad. So that's why I said 5 pounds is the max. But just because it's the max, I'm not trying to hit the max. Like a credit card. You're not trying to max out the credit card. You might use it occasionally every now and then you pay it off, but you're not maxing it out. So, yes, Buttercup. Now, my next tip is simply cooking at home and making my craving dupes. I know I probably said this a lot, but cooking at home changes the game, Buttercup. It changes the game so much. You have so much control over your food, your portions, what you're seasoning with. You have so much control. And I have family, they want to eat out on Sundays and, sometimes there's little functions and stuff. And I get mad. I'm not going to lie, Buttercup. I am now the person like, when they're like, we want to go out to eat, I get mad. I'm like, I don't want it. I don't want to eat there. I don't want to eat out. Because it's so many, it's so much just extra calories. Now, of course, if we're on vacation, that's a different story. You're trying different foods, boom, boom, boom. But I just don't like eating out anymore. Now, of course, I like my Chick-fil-A and little things like that, but that's just occasional stuff. But if it's just, I'm craving cookout, right? I'm craving cookout. Instead of me going to cookout, I make everything at home. I take my potatoes, chop them up, make wedgies. I take my chicken, I grill it. I got my bacon, I got my onions. And just by me making it at home, I have saved anywhere from 300 to almost 1,000 calories, Buttercup. That's how many calories I've saved. So I could literally have Chick-fil-A every day at home, and it's a fraction of the calories. And I've done it. I was craving Chick-fil-A breakfast last week. And I did get a biscuit. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I surely did get a biscuit. But when I saw how many calories it was just for the biscuit and the small thing of hash browns and I think a cookie and the lemonade, like the light lemonade, it was all together like over 1,000 calories. And I said, this is ridiculous. For this small portion of food, it is over 1,000 calories. You're gonna be hungry later, but you're already starting the day over 1,000 calories. You're pretty much eating your daily calories in one meal. That is ridiculous. It made me mad. It was good though. I surely did eat and enjoy it. But the next day, I had an English muffin with my chicken breast and cheese, and then I had some little potato puffs, and pretty much recreated the meal. But the whole meal was about 600 calories compared to the Chick-fil-A biscuit that was 550 calories. So you see what I'm saying? And it was a huge portion. Like, it was good. I ate on it. I didn't eat all of it. So I ate some of it, and then like an hour later, I came back and kind of nibbled on it. But that whole meal was 600 calories, and I still had food for the rest of the day. That's one of my cravings. My other craving is Chinese food. Oh my gosh, I love Chinese food, and I love Cheesecake Factory orange chicken. I love it, y'all. It is so good. But it's like 1,900 calories just for the meal. And yes, I will still occasionally enjoy Cheesecake Factory, but I can't eat Cheesecake Factory every time I'm craving because it's so high in calories. So, and also too, they give you way too much rice. The That rice dome, I don't eat all of it now. Back in the day, I used to eat the whole plate, Buttercup. No shame in my game. I used to eat the whole dinner portion. Sure did. But now I get the lunch portion. But even with the lunch portion, it's still like almost 1,600 calories. But it's the rice. But anyway, so what I do is I use cauliflower rice. And then Whole Foods has this cauliflower stir fry version. So it has the peas, the carrots, the little onions. It has all of that already into the cauliflower rice. I bake it. Then after I bake it, I pull out my wok. I put my zero olive oil spray into it, and I throw that cauliflower rice in there because I can get it nice and crunchy. And then I'll have my seasoned chicken breast and put my seasonings on it. And it's like orange chicken, but almost like a hibachi style. Or I will use the bear nuggets. Now, I will still probably use about 4 to maybe 600 calories worth of bear nuggets. And I make my own sauce, and it's so good. Buttercup is so good. So if I use the bear nuggets and the cauliflower rice, all together, it might be 800-ish calories, depending on how I played it. If I use the bear nuggets and actual rice, it might be 900 to maybe 1,000-ish calories, but still it's a whole nice plate meal or whatever compared to the 1,900 plate. So yes, and then I love lo mein, lao mein, however you say it, but I love lo mein, lao mein. But that thing is over. Oh my gosh, it's over 1,000 calories. It's over 1,000 calories. So what I do, whenever I grocery shop, I will get zucchini, squash. Well, hold on. I will get zucchini, yellow squash, white onions. And I get it in bulk, and I chop up everything the way I like it. And I put it in Ziploc bags and put it in the freezer for whenever I'm craving lo mein or like some type of Chinese dish or whatever. I use that, and then I use the heart of palm linguine style noodles, and the whole pack is 50 calories. And if you cook and season everything right, it just tastes amazing, Buttercup. It tastes like, I would say it tastes like, the restaurant. Of course, you're going to have more of a starchier taste because of the noodles, but I can have a whole plate of shrimp lao mein, chicken lao mein, or steak and shrimp lao mein, and it is no more than 400 calories. So you see how when you cook at home and you make your cravings at home, you can save a whole lot of calories. And let's just say, hey, you want a cinnamon roll, or you want whatever you're craving. If you've been pretty much locked in the whole month, or at least majority of the month, whenever you get Chick-fil-A or whenever you get Cheesecake Factory or one cinnamon roll, it's not going to be that bad because, again, you've locked in most of the month. But if you are eating Chick-fil-A and Cheesecake Factory and cinnamon rolls and Oreos every day, and you're of course you're in a calorie surplus, then yeah, you're going to gain the weight. You are going to gain the weight, Buttercup. you're just going to gain the weight. So yeah, that has helped me. And of course, movement every day. I had to get rid of the burn mindset because I used to, especially at the beginning of this year, was like, I have to burn, I have to burn, I have to burn these calories off. I have to sweat them off. If I overeat, I'm going to sweat off 16, well, not 16, I'm going to sweat off, 500 calories. And I would sweat off about 500 to 600 calories, and it made me hungrier. And it's just like, no. So I stopped the burn mindset and just adapted more of, this is my body. I need to move it every day. It's like a car, it needs that tune up. You don't want the check engine light coming on. So just the everyday movement is giving me what I need. And I also believe because I've been moving my body, I work out, I train, I'm definitely getting my walk on. So I shoot for 8 to 12K steps. 10K is always my baseline, but some days it's like, okay, hey, if I can just shoot for at least 8, that'll be fine. But like I said, 10K is the baseline. 10K is my normal. So normally I hit 10K steps at least 5 days out the week. There might be one day where I hit 9,500 or 8,500, but for the most part, 10K is my baseline. But that's helped me out a lot, Buttercup, because I'm going to tell you something. When I started my journey and just kind of throughout the journey, because of course I started March 1st, 2021. Whenever I would fall off, Buttercup, I would fall off. So I would fall off in my walking, I would fall off in my water, I would fall off in my nutrition, and in my workouts, kind of like really all or nothing. So if I fell off in my eating, I fell off on everything else. What helped me out this year is, I wouldn't even say I fell off, but if I ever had, those days where I did overeat, the main thing was I still got my walk on, I still did my training, I still had water, and I had a decent amount of sleep. So yes, there still is a calorie surplus, but at least I didn't fall off on everything. So movement every day, and now I'm going to jump into staying consistent majority of the time. If you stay consistent majority of the time, you are not going to gain or regain the weight. So like I said, Buttercup, when I was telling, you all about my cycle and how I had to learn it, and that I struggled during days 21 through day 30. I struggled during that time frame. Even though I was struggling, Buttercup, I was still getting at least 80 ounces of water daily. I was still hitting 10K steps. I was still training 4 to 5 days out the week. So even though I still was in a calorie surplus and I still got my eat on, I was consistent in everything else. Okay? And by me staying consistent in everything else, that kept me from gaining over 5 pounds. Because of course, the 5-pound rule is there. But that just helped me out a lot. All I'm saying is stay consistent, Buttercup. If you fall off in one area, stay consistent in everything else. Because once you fall off in one area, then fall off in another area, and then falling off in 3 out of 6 areas, once you start falling off, you're going to start seeing it. Like I said, day 21 through day 30 is a struggle for me. So if I stopped walking and stopped training and stopped drinking my water and stopped getting as much sleep and just was kind of eating in that surplus, trust and believe I would have gained over 5 pounds, or I would have probably gained right at 5 pounds, and it would have been 5 pure pounds, and almost like restarting. Even though it's just 5 pounds, it's still like, it's a lot to get that weight off. So yes, Buttercup. And I do believe by staying consistent 85 to 95% of the time, that keeps you in check. And this is what has helped me not regain my weight. It has helped me not regain my weight. Like I said, I lost 103 pounds the beginning of this year, and now I've been holding steady between 105 to 107, but really closer to that 107. But I've been hanging out between 105-pound weight loss and 107-pound weight loss. So what I'm telling you, it actually works, and it has helped me out so much. Now, my next thing is, it's a kind of like a plating thing. So of course I stay in my calorie deficit most days. I had to play around with different deficits this year. So that's also why my weight has kind of like changed or whatever. I had to play around with calories because there was times I was training intense, so my calories were higher. But then with that intensified training, it was harder to stay in a deficit. So after kind of like 2 months of doing that, I had to change into another program or change into something else. So there's a lot of trial and error with the calorie intake. But something that I learned was, if I'm going to have a high calorie protein, I will have low calorie sides. What's a high calorie protein? To me, depending on the cut of salmon is high calorie for me, because salmon is 250 calories per 4 ounces. Most of the time, I get 8 to 10 ounces of whatever my protein is. So, yeah, 8 to 10 ounces, which is good because I used to eat more, but like 8 to 10 ounces. So, 8 to 10 ounces of salmon is probably, don't quote me, maybe 500-ish or 550 plus calories. So, that's a decent amount of calories. If you only have like 1,500, 1,600 calories, to have 8 ounces of salmon is 500 calories. So I'm not going to eat 8 ounces of salmon, a serving of rice, and the vegetables. I'm not going to do that. I mean, there has been times that I do it, but if I do have that meal, I have to adjust everything else according to it. But for the most part, what I do is, if I have salmon, I eat it with salad. Or I eat the salmon with butternut squash, or maybe a small serving of potatoes or something. But it's just balancing out my plate. Now, if I eat chicken, by chicken being so low calorie, it's 100 and like the chicken breast is 110 calories per 4 ounces. So there's always going to be some chicken with maybe some potatoes and broccoli. That's like my combination. So pretty much, if I have a low calorie meat protein option, I might have like more of a starchier side, and of course a green vegetable. But if I have a higher calorie protein, for me it automatically kind of goes to a salad, just depending on my calorie range. Like if I have 1,800 calories, yeah, I can kind of play around a little bit more. But when I had 1,400 and 1,500 calories, it's like, okay, we already at 8 ounces of salmon, so that's 500 calories. And then a serving of rice is 180 to 200 calories. So boom, that's 700 calories right there. And then I have my vegetables, which is still good. So it's like maybe 800-ish calories. But I'm like, when I'm working with 1,400 and 1,500 calories for one meal to be 800 calories, that's taking up a lot of my calories. So I learned through different deficits that I was trying, kind of like how to make my plate. So like I said, if I have a heavier protein, I'm going to eat lighter sides, meaning like a salad, tomato, cucumber salad. That's what I'm going to do. If I have a lower calorie protein, I will have a heavier starch. So rice, potatoes, and then butternut squash. And also, I would say, to add to one of my trigger foods, it is rice. I eat actual rice occasionally because I love rice. It's starchy. Especially my mama back in the day, y'all. She would make a pot of rice and she would cook it like in chicken stock and season it. And then she would put so much butter into the rice. Like the rice would be so good, you could literally just have a bowl of rice. Maybe some gravy, maybe some chicken, but just rice. So I could eat, and I'm telling you, I could eat a whole pot right now. If it is made correctly, I could eat a whole pot of rice. And that's a lot of calories. So that's why I automatically shoot for cauliflower rice. I'm loving potatoes more now, and I'm really loving butternut squash because so I'm still a volume eater. So pretty much 2 or 3 servings of actual rice, you're looking at almost 600 calories. 2 to 3 servings of cauliflower rice is 60 calories, maybe 80. So yeah, rice is one of those kind of special things that I might eat occasionally, but I don't. I try not to eat rice that because it's so easy for me to overeat on it, and it's such a small portion at times. Like if I eat rice, I would have to have a whole bunch of chicken and a whole bunch of veggies, and then by that time, I feel like I'm not eating the rice because of so much of everything else. Like I kind of like the balance where it's like it's the same amount of chicken, maybe the same amount of vegetables, and then the same amount of rice, and that's not gonna work because yeah. But anyway, that's what I had to add in there. And then, of course, drinking your water. Water has helped out. And drinking my electrolytes with my water, that has helped me out a lot. And then drinking tea. I know it sounds strange, but I drink 2 to 3 cups of tea a day. So, drinking tea has helped me out because I realize I'm still a snacker occasionally. And that's what I would do, especially in the beginning of my weight loss journey and just kind of throughout it. Like the first 2-ish years, I snacked. Even though I was still in the deficit, I was snacking. But as I've been trying to really stay in the deficit, clean up that deficit, I noticed that, wow, sis, you're snacking a lot. So drinking tea has helped me out from snacking as much because you not saying I always have to have something in my hand or I always have to be eating. No, but just having that tea I'm sipping on, it's like I'm doing something. So I have my ginger tea in the morning. That's great. And then I have my peppermint tea kind of like midday. I'm sipping on that throughout the job. That keeps me from eating the office candy because I'm sipping on my peppermint tea and it's refreshing and I feel so cute and pretty with my tea. So I'm not snacking on the office candy. Then at night before bed, it's like a little ritual. I'm having I'm having a cup of some caramel tea. And if you want to add a little bit of sweetener, it just tastes good. It's like a little sweet treat. I just like it. Or I'll have like a cup of, like, I call it poo poo tea. And pretty much it's like a detox tea that it helps you poo. So I'll drink that. It's a berry flavor. And then pretty much in the morning, by about 8 o'clock in the morning, I get a good clean out. So drinking teas throughout the day, that keeps me in check. I'm not eating. I'm not snacking as much. And like I said, because I'm in check most of the month, whenever I do fall off, it's not that bad because I have all these things working for me. Another tip is finding a home balance. Now, I know this might be different for everyone, but finding a home work balance. Because earlier this year, I was working way more days. I was doing multiple projects. I was doing kind of like a lot of somewhat volunteer work as well. And then I was working out. I was training about 5 days a week. And I was just doing a lot of stuff, Buttercup. And I noticed by me doing so much and being involved in so much stuff that I was overeating. I was kind of stress eating a little bit. I would be snacking more. I wasn't as prepared for my day because I didn't know how my day was going. Like I would expect to be home by a certain time and I wasn't home by a certain time because I had another project to do. So now I'm out and about in the outside world. Yes, I have lower calorie options to choose from, but it was just still, I was just still doing a lot, and it just kind of triggered stress eating. And then I would come home, and I'm trying to meal prep. I'm trying to, get my workout on, doing wifely duties, like just doing a lot of stuff. And then, Lord knows, I got my homegirl. I ain't talked to her in a minute. I send her like, little messages from time to time, but it was just so busy, Buttercup, that I didn't even have time to check on my peoples. I just didn't have time. So I had to sit down this year. I believe it was around June. I'm going to say around June, July. And I had to make some decisions. I had to drop some things that I was doing so I could have more focus on what I needed to do. And I had to even, adjust my work schedule, because it was just so much that literally every day I had something to do. Every day my time was to someone else. Every day I had to do something every day. And I was like, I'm still going to be committed to myself. I'm still going to get my workout in. I'm still going to try to get these steps in. And I was still doing it too. Buttercup. I was definitely getting my steps in. I was still getting my workouts in. But I was so drained emotionally, spiritually, and physically that I just didn't have the energy. And it was just a lot. I was just doing too much. I was still kind of, then by me doing so much, like I said, I was nibbling a little bit more. And don't let it be day 21 through day 30, because it would hit harder with those cravings. So I adjusted my schedule accordingly. I adjusted my schedule accordingly. I adjusted my work schedule. I adjusted my extra activities. And then even at home, instead of me trying to meal prep for the whole week, I stopped doing that. I meal prep for maybe like 3-ish days. And then, it's like, oh, well, you're still doing more time meal prepping. No, I meal prep for about 3 days. And then I have stuff that's just ready that I can just grab and go. So the stuff that I have ready where I can grab and go, I always keep some fruit. I keep some boiled eggs. I keep protein shakes that are pre-made. And of course I have the ones I can make, but I keep the pre-made ones because that's literally I can grab a protein shake, 2 boiled eggs, and some fruit, and I'm gone. So I have meals that's already prepped for the week, and then I just have food that's just grab and go access. I even have little frozen meals that you can just add stuff to it and you can eat it, or you can just literally heat and eat. So finding that home balance, adjusting my schedule, and adjusting my meal preps. Like I said, I would spend hours meal prepping. And then me and my husband, we eat different food. Look, ladies, you can't eat what the men be eating and the volume they eat. So it's like I'm pretty much meal prepping for 2. And I'm just like, this is too much. Like, it was too much. And then it's like, I make his food, and I would kind of like do like a little bit of snacking on his stuff. I'm like, okay, do it taste right? Needs a little bit more butter. Needs a little bit more salt. So I was nibbling on his stuff a little bit too. But yeah, adjusting my schedule, finding that balance. So for myself, I'll meal prep, 3-ish days worth of food, and then just have snacks and stuff ready. For him, I'll meal prep maybe about 4 to 5-ish days of his stuff, but his stuff is more volume as well. So once I make a pot of rice for him, that's a pot of rice solely for him. So that rice is going to last him a long time, or 4 to 5 days. If I make a pot of collard greens for him, he gonna be like pretty much the food that he has, he's gonna be eating on it all week. My food, I can eat on it all week, but I just didn't feel like I said, I'm meal prepping for 2. So I'm like, I'll just do a little bit for myself. Like, as long as I got 3 days worth of actual food ready, and then I have, my boiled eggs, my protein shakes, my fruit, I'm good. And then by the weekend, I like different foods. So it actually worked out for me to meal prep 3 days worth of food, and then just kind of snack on my eggs and all that type of stuff, kind of like middle week. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I like my weekend food. My weekend food is the Chinese food that I make. All the stuff that I crave, but I eat that on the weekend. So it just works out, Buttercup. It works out. And my final tip for this video is simply I have allowed myself grace, but also keeping myself accountable when weighing in. Okay? That is key. I have learned how to weigh in without spiraling. If the scale goes up, it's not all fat. Sometimes it's water, it's hormones, and sometimes you just got food. You got to take a good poo. But I still hold myself accountable, and I adjust instead of avoiding it. 'Cause let me tell you, Buttercup, back in the day, when I would eat crazy, I would not weigh in. Like, I would weigh in every week. But if I ate crazy that week, I'm like, nah, I don't want to weigh in. Nope, I don't want to weigh in. I'm going to do right, and then I'll weigh in next week. And then what happens is, because I did not have a mental, check-in or a physical check-in of getting on the scale, I would still kind of eat a little crazy. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'll weigh in next week. So now that's 2 weeks without weighing in. So now we are on to the third week. And I finally weigh in because I finally, got myself together on that third week. And then I see I've gained about 7-ish pounds. But I don't really know what I gained in total because I should have just weighed in the first week. When I was eating crazy, I should have just weighed in like, ooh, I don't like that number. Or, ooh, okay, let me get back on track. Because you're being accountable. Whenever you weigh in, look at it as data. Look at it as data. Because when you weigh in, it's just like, hey, okay, I ate crazy. I gained 3 pounds this week. Now, this was something I had to learn about, being water weight and food and all that type of stuff. But I'm like, okay, I gained 3 pounds this week. So now, since I gained 3 pounds, we're just going to get right back on track. And I'll add a couple more steps in. I'm add a little bit more water in this week. I'm not going to just completely okay, we're going to drop to 1,200 calories. No, we're going to adjust and then just get back to it. That's what happens when I weigh in every week. But if I don't weigh in every week, it's kind of like a out of sight, out of mind. I'm not holding myself accountable. I'm nibbling more, and I don't care about my nibbling because it's like I haven't seen where I'm actually at. So I'm just like, oh, going off at the way I look. So I'm like, okay, I look good. So I'm going to keep on eating. But then it sneaks up on you, and then it's like, boom, you done gained 5 to 7 pounds. Your clothes of pure fat. Your clothes fit differently, and now the habits have really fallen off. So now it's like you got to restart again. But like I said, I give myself grace and I hold myself accountable. And holding myself accountable is weighing in every week, regardless of whatever. I weigh in every week. I don't look at that number like, oh my gosh, I'm a failure. It's just like, hey, okay, we're going to tighten up this week. That's it. And especially, I started eating more carbs now because I was somewhat keto-ish because I felt like I looked leaner whenever I didn't eat as much carbs. I feel like I looked leaner. But what would happen is when I would have potatoes, occasionally, I would bloat so bad, pretty much. But then when I was doing research, and of course, do your own research, whenever you eat carbs, it's like for 1 gram of carbs, it's like 3 grams of water weight. Do your own research. So if you're having, 100 grams of carbs, that's like 300 grams of water weight pretty much. And when I say carbs, I mean more of, for me, rice, potatoes, and kind of like breads, like those carbs, not really from butternut squash or whatever fruits that have carbs in it. Those carbs don't bother me. But the carb from potatoes, rice, and bread, that's different. So whenever I would eat those foods, I would naturally bloat more. And I didn't know too much about how to train with carbs. So I would eat, a good amount of carbs, but I wasn't using them. So I looked bloated. And then at that time, this was years ago, then at that time, I wasn't drinking as much water either. So it's like I would still somewhat lose weight, but I would look poofier. But now when I eat carbs, I don't stress about it because I'm pumping iron. I'm getting my walk on. Like I'm still moving my body. So I'm using those carbs as an energy source. And they're helping fuel my muscles, getting them all nice and pumped and stuff. So yeah, but like I said, giving myself grace and accountability, because if I eat certain carbs, I know I'm probably going to go up a little bit in water weight if I'm not actually using those carbs. I noticed that during my cycle, and I'm eating normal, but the week before my cycle, I naturally bloat 3 to sometimes 7 pounds. And this is with me eating right. This is with me getting my walk on. Like, this is with me still being in check. I will naturally gain 3 to 7 pounds. So I'm like, what is this? What is going on? I've been eating right. Yeah, it's hormones. So now when I get on the scale, if I know about what time it is, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm naturally going to do this, and that. So I still get on the scale just to see where I'm at. But if it's like kind of super high and I know I've been in check, I'm like, oh, okay, it's around that time. So learning your body, knowing your cycle, giving yourself grace and accountability, it's just amazing. And pretty much, Buttercup, that's it. Yeah, that's it. That's what I've done. Like I said, even if I did eat crazy, I still got on the scale, food weight and all. I'm like, okay, so this is like 3 pounds of food weight. And then, I'll take my tea and kind of like be back on track. And then within 2 to 3-ish days, I'll get on the scale again just to see where I'm at. And I'll be right back at my normal weight. So I'm like, wow, that was literally 2 pounds of food weight with probably 2 to 3 pounds of water weight. So it's about 5 pounds. But then just with 3 days of just staying on track, drinking a little bit more water, flushing it out, drinking my tea, I was back at my weight. So like my regular baseline weight. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. Because back in the day, Buttercup, like I said, if I saw those numbers go up, if I ate crazy, I would avoid the scale. And then if I was on track and I got on the scale and saw my numbers went up, I would stress out. So I would start eating less and moving more to try to get the weight off. But it wasn't actual weight. It was just the hormone inflection. So, all these things, Buttercup. But anyway, grace and accountability. So, yeah, these are just the little micro habits that have helped me maintain my 100-pound weight loss without feeling like I'm on a diet for a full year, okay? They have helped me build structure, but have also given me grace. If you are on this journey, just remember, it's not the big changes. It is the small, consistent ones that save you. Okay, Buttercup? Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. And make sure you minding your business and tending to your own business. Minding and tending to the business that pays you. If it doesn't pay you, Buttercup, you definitely need to be minding your own business, which is drinking your green juice, going for your pretty and healthy girl walk, and meal prepping your food because it is a sign of self-love. I will catch you in the next one. Bye.